Mazi Nnamdi Kanu court resumes today as four senior advocates of Nigeria indicate interest to defend Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by joining his defense team. It is worthy of note that people continue to advocate for justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. That notwithstanding, it is very sad and bitter to also note that his own people, the politicians, the senators, and most of the governors conspired to continue holding him in DSS custody. History will not forget these developments. That people who are not from Igbo extraction are joining the Defense Council of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to ensure that justice is served, that his fundamental rights of freedom and self-determination is secured and guaranteed under the Nigerian Constitution, under international laws. Unfortunately and sadly, some political heavyweights within the southeastern region has been grossly accused of being responsible for the continued detention and incarceration and fundamental breach of the right of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Despite the court ruling and injunction given in his favor by an appellate court of Nigerian legal jurisprudence, it is quite sad. People considering political solutions as the only way to go. Could that mean that it's no longer a place for the rule of law, for the cause of justice within the Nigerian state? Does that mean that the Nigerian government has no regard for its constituted rules of law? That is quite unfortunate. Making it more worse and unbearable is that Igbo extractions from his own kinsmen are kicking against his unconditional release and upholding the rule of law for vested interests to protect their political interests or what they believe is a threat to their political dynasty and alignment. That is quite unfortunate that the rule of law and the place of humanity and the fundamental human rights has been eroded and is no longer considered when it comes into a society like Nigeria today, where the world is watching as the resumption of the court case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that the lead counsel, Aloy Jimako, said, "We are not afraid of trial, but we're afraid of injustice." Well, it's another opportunity to prove the case and the innocency of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who only advocated for justice, equity, and fairness to all. He was not just being selfish in considering of pursuing the welfare and the well-being of his own kinsmen, of his own people, but just as it's been said in the Holy Book, the Bible, that he came to his own people, but his people rejected him and shouted, crucify him, even when Pontius Pilate have said, "I find no fault, no guilt in him." They keep shouting the more, "Crucify him." We prefer the discontented politicians who have stolen the destinies of millions and generations unborn to the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is very sad and very disturbing development in such society. How do you entrench democratic norms and the rule of law? And how do progress in state? It's quite unfortunate. What are we leaving to the next generations who are watching helplessly and in deep frustration as people's rights are being usurped and the disgruntled politicians, majority of them, not all of them, are not having a rethink of the conscience to think about the implications and the consequences of their actions. How could a man justified, dedicated, by the unestablished law by a sovereign state not be respected. It is quite sad because of certain personalities, vested interests, political interests. They want to subvert the course of justice. They want to continue the endless and indefinite unjust incarceration of an innocent man, presumed innocent, acquitted and discharged by Nigerian Appellate Court of Law, affirmed by the Supreme Court, the highest court within the Nigerian legal jurisprudence, citing that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail, but an attempt of assassination to his life prompted him calling for safety, which is justifiable. Now, what else could Nigeria have to nail him? As Nigerians, it's been allegedly lining up witnesses to testify against him. Over what? Overriding of communities by IPOB, displacement of indigenous communities in Benue, in Plateau, in northern parts of the country. The southwestern region are not left, just like Ondo, Ekiti. Most communities have deserted. It's been reported by the Nigerian, the management of the internally displaced persons, that over 50 communities had been dislodged, displaced, and sacked out of their communities in Benue State, about 64 in Plateau State. Is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his indigenous people, Biafra, responsible, going about different localities and regions, sacking the indigenous people, constituting nuisance and menace to the entire population and ethnic nationalities within the Nigerian settling? It is very sad that those committing and perpetrating such heinous crimes are being considered as the first-class citizens or universal citizens who has the right to defend their own impunity and the unjust treatment and annihilations and sponsor genocide against the indigenous people. They are not being proscribed as terrorists, but are sadly those asking for the fundamental rights to self-determination, to life, and preservation of their posterity are being considered by the Nigerian government as proscribed terrorists. It's quite very sad, despite that acclaimed, satisfied global community had designated them as the most first terrorist, deadly terrorist group in the surface of the earth. Yet the Nigerian government tends to be aligning, pampering, of course, and covering up their alleged, the clear and obvious criminality against humanity, hiding under the disguise of farmers' herders class. When has farmers' herders class resorted to the annihilation and sponsored genocide against indigenous communities, not just in northern region, but the southwestern region, the eastern region, the southern region, and every other region is not left out in this project or program of annihilation and exclusive conquest. Now, under what circumstances should Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, be subjected to an indefinite and perpetual incarcerations, while those manning, killing, and assaulting the fundamental rights and the compromising the territorial sovereignty of the Nigerian state are not being brought to justice? Unfortunately, most of the communities has been sacked and they have mounted their own Islamic caliphate. Even military bases are being rounded up and overrun by this same Islamic jihadis. And yet, the security operatives has lamented that the powers, the commanders have failed to give them ultimatum, the marching order to confront the same criminals, the same terrorists. But here down in the east, they are mounting roadblocks, assaulting, intimidating people for not justifiable reason are we under siege is that security. This is quite sad. As the world watch stands as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court case resumes, there have been several international and local voices calling for his unconditional release. Whatever be the case, four senior advocates of Nigeria are joining the lead counsel for the defense of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As Justice Omotosho of the High Court, Federal High Court, resumes the court as he promised to expedite the court hearing and in the fairness and the interests of justice as it's been selected today, 29th of April, 2nd of May, and the 6th of May for the final court judgment. Well, we continue to watch as we bring you the latest development. We are here to sensitize you that it is today that history will be made. But sadly, we are not forgetting too late the conspiracy of his own people who will come out to shout, releasing, but behind the scene, they are the one masterminding his continued detention. Well, the Tinubu administration, the justice system within the Nigerian jurisdiction is under trial. As we watch again, the DSS boss saying that communities should defend themselves against terrorists coming to kill, and he led them. That the DSS, the Nigerian government, the military cannot protect all the communities, even in the suburb regions, that the absence of the federal government or security operatives are noticeable. Well, let's watch as the court case resumes today, and the defense counsels are very much ready to defend the cause of justice. It's been a pleasure, always been here to bring your way the unbiased reportage of events. Keeping it real has been a commitment. To this end, we come your way again. Have a very fantastic moment and day ahead as we cross our teeth, of course, to watch events unfold. We'll bring your way the latest developments regarding this court hearing today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more political updates and discuss. I remain Chigos Ndibo, the host anchor. Bye for now.